why do I need simplex table? Now simplex table gives me information about the revised problem. Okay. What is revised problem? Now suppose I have been given minimize C transpose X subject to Ax equal to B, X greater than equal to 0. That is the original problem. But when I look at the same problem standing at a vertex, so then I get the revised problem. The revised problem is minimize C bar transpose X subject to B inverse A X equal to B inverse B. That's the revised problem. And the simplex table also gives us many geometric information that I am going to show. And also this is the tabular structure is so convenient that it is part of the simplex algorithm that is practically implemented. Okay, so these are the three regions, and whatever discussion we are doing here, a general discussion is very similar. So we can write theorems with proofs based on the same arguments. Okay, so imagine you are having the unit cube in R3. So that has sides E1, E2, E3. And so the corners are 0, 0, 0 and 1, 1, 1. Those are the diametrically opposite corners. Okay, and imagine you are minimizing x1 plus x2 plus x3. Okay, so on the unit cube, if you are trying to minimize x1 plus x2 plus x3, then because we are human beings, we know that the answer is 0. Okay, that is the smallest. But if I suppose write it as x equal to b, input a to the computer, b to the computer, and c to the computer, and then c is 1, 1, 1 here, and say, okay, find the answer, like how will the computer look? Okay, what the computer will look, we'll see. I mean, what the computer will do, that will see later. First of all, what is the LPP corresponding to this? And the LPP corresponding to this is like minimize x1. LPP is in R3, x2 plus x3 subject to the constraints x1 is less than equal to 1, x2 is less than equal to 1, x3 is less than equal to 1, and x greater than equal to 0. When I am saying x greater than equal to 0, it means x1 greater than equal to 0, x2 greater than equal to 0, x3 greater than equal to 0. So this is what I say by saying that the set is bounded below by 0. Okay, fine. So this is the LPP. What is the SLPP? Now SLPP would be this: minimize C transpose X subject to, I am writing in the matrix form, X equal to B, X greater than equal to 0, where what is A? Now A is equal to 1. See, there are 3 inequalities here. So I will add 3 slack variables: x1 plus x4, okay, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. This is x2 plus x5, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1. This is x3 plus x6. This is A. B is equal to 1, 1, 1, and C is equal to, so we are writing C transpose, which is a row vector. C is equal to 1, 1, 1, x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus 0, x4 plus 0, x5 plus 0, x6. So this SLPP, this is in R6. Okay, this one is in R6. The LPP was in R3. Fine. So you were given your original problem is this. Now you have converted to SLPP. This is in R6. Fine. Now you want to write the problem table. So the problem table is a table which is very similar to this. Problem table. To write the problem table, the style is the same as the simplex table. So I am just writing BV. Actually, this is not required. You have to write this, and then you have to write B. And here you don't have anything. Here all you have to do is write the A. 1 0 0 1 0 0. This is 1. 0 1 0 0 1 0. This is 1. And 0 0 1 0 0 1, and this is 1. Write this. Put a star here. Normally in simplex table we write something, and here you have to write C, the C transpose. 1 1 1, that is this one, 0 0 0. This is the problem table. So problem table, it is a tabular form. It tells very quickly what equations have been given and what are we supposed to minimize. We are minimizing 1 1 1 0 0 0. That is C transpose X. That is the problem table. Okay, fine. Next is, so here I have written that answers. Let me go to this one. Look at C, the C part. So the set of feasible, the feasible set of the LPP, let us denote by T. Okay, the T is the feasible set, and the feasible set for the SLPP we denote by T star. For this discussion, I will want to need to differentiate them. So T is the feasible set for the LPP, and T star is the feasible set for the SLPP. Okay. Now, what is the corresponding point? Okay, let me tell this thing here. So we have our problem table here written. So notice that 1 1 0. Oh, I forgot to write one more line. Let W be the point 1 1 0, that is in T. So I somehow missed that. So consider this point. So I am looking at this corner. Okay, 1 1 0. W is this thing. What is the corresponding point W star of T star? Now look, so that will be a point of R6. Okay, so what I have to see if I take x1 is equal to 1, x2 equal to 1, and x3 equal to 0, and it has to satisfy this, that x1 plus x4 is equal to 1, then it follows that the fourth coordinate will be 1 1 0. The fourth coordinate will be 0. Similarly, looking at the second row of the problem table, okay, you see it is saying x2 plus x5 is equal to 1. x2 I already have 1 here in W. Okay, W2 is already 1. Therefore, the fifth coordinate has to be 0. And look at the third row of the problem table. It says x3 plus x6 has to be equal to 1. Since in W the third coordinate is 0, it follows that the sixth coordinate will be equal to 1. So that is W star. Okay, so that is the point W star of t star because it satisfies the equation, and entries are also greater than equal to 0. Okay. The second question, it says, is W star a BFS of X equal to B? Now, first of all, it is a solution. It satisfies X equal to B. So here A is this one. This is A only. I have written the matrix A. Okay. It is a solution, and the entries are greater than equal to 0. Yes, that is also correct. And look at the columns of A corresponding to the positive entries. That is the first column, the second column, and the sixth column. So you should look at this column, the first column, the second column, and the sixth column. Are they linearly independent? Now, yes, they are linearly independent, so it is a BFS. So it corresponds to a BFS. That means it will correspond to a vertex of T star. I cannot see T star, but I know this is a vertex. Okay. This is one answer. The other answer is that, as we know in a previous exercise, that every vertex of T will correspond to a vertex of, I mean, there is a 1-1 correspondence of T star. So that is an alternate answer. No problem. Fine. We go to point 3. Write an ordered basis that corresponds to W star. So if you want to write an ordered basis, because the problem table, if you are looking at A is m by n, means 3 by 6. So you have to select 3 linearly independent columns, and definitely you will include the ones that are having positive entries. So here a basis, an ordered basis, is, for example, x1, x2, x6. So you have to take these 3 definitely because they have positive entries. So whatever has positive entries, you have to take them. If you have like less number of positive entries, then out of the zeros you can select any one such that the whole matrix that you are selecting is like linearly, I mean is non-singular. Or you can also take x2, x1, x6, or any 3 factorial combinations. Okay, any arrangement of them. So we will take this one. I will take this one only. Okay. So here is the answer I have written. Okay, fine. Now comes the original part. Form the simplex table at the ordered basis x2, x1, x6. That means you are standing at the vertex. What was that vertex? That vertex was W star. What was that? Now it was 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. So you are standing at this vertex and looking at the problem itself, analyzing the problem. So whatever table you get, so that table it is asking. Okay. So how to get that table? Fine. So the BFS I mean the basis I am taking x2, x1, x6. So this one is more important. And so for that, you first write down the problem table. If you want to do that, first you write down the problem table. What was the problem table? Now the problem table was the following: BV, x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, B. This was the problem table I am trying to write. The first one was x1 plus x4 equal to 1. Second one was x2 plus x5 equal to 1. The third one was x3 plus x6 equal to 1. And what I had to minimize? I had to minimize 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0. And when you were starting to write the simplex table, you put a 0 over here. Okay. This is my preparation to write the simplex table. And here you write the basis element in the ordered way. So against the first row, you write x2. Against the second row, x1. Against the third row, you write x6. This is my preparation. This is not the simplex table. From here, it will be converted to simplex table if the column below the first basic variable, this is my first basic variable, and the column below the first basic variable should look like 1, 0, 0. Column below the second basic variable should look like 0, 1, 0, E2. Column below the third basic variable should look like 0, 0, 1, E3. That is what I have to do. And also the entries of C below the basic variables have to be converted to zeros. Okay. By the time you do that, you have obtained the simplex table. Now, how do you do that? Now, you are only allowed to use elementary row operations. Okay. So elementary row operations allow you to interchange two rows. So to make the column below the first variable, I mean the first basic variable, so here it is x2, x1, x6. Okay, in order to make the column below the first basic variable 1, 0, 0, what I do, I interchange the first two rows. So I write the second row first. When I interchange the first two rows, I also interchange these values. They also interchange, not the basis. Okay, basis remain as such. So I will write 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. This was the second one. And then I write 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1. And I keep the third one as such, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. And it is 0. And right now I will write the same C that I had written. This is also not the final simplex table. Okay, these are calculations. Right now I am seeing in this table the column below x2 is 1, 0, 0. The column below x1 is 0, 1, 0. And the column below x6 is 0, 0, 1. So I am done half part. Now I have to make these entries below the basic variables 0. And what am I supposed to do? Now I can do some elementary row operation to make these entries 0. So what do? I take one time row 1, one time row 2, and one time row 3, and subtract it from C transpose from this. Okay. So then what do I get? Now I will get okay, let me write the next one again, so that at least one time you see what exactly we are doing. I have already told you also there are two ways of making the simplex table, and I have done it earlier also, but since you might not have paid attention that time, I am writing it again. So you write -f here, -f here, fine. 0, 1, 0 0 1 0 1 0 0 sorry 0 1 0 0 I sorry this was 1 0 Africa 1 0, then this is 1 0 0 1, and then 0 0 1 0 0 1 1. Now what do I do? Now I am taking the sum of the first three rows and subtracting it from C. So I will get 0 over here, 0 over here, 0 over here. Here I will get a -1, here I will get a -1, here I will get a -1, and here I will get a -3. Not, sorry. What was that? Oh, wait a minute. Have I written the problem table? There is something wrong. Wait a minute. The problem table is fine. Oh, I forgot something. Wait a minute. Not the three ones. Sorry. What am I supposed to do? Now I am supposed to, this is not basic variable. Sorry, this one is not basic variable. X3 is not basic variable. I am supposed to make the entries of C below the basic variables. Right now, basic variables are X1, X2, and X6. That I have to make 0. Okay, so for that you have to take the sum of first two rows and subtract. Okay, so in that case, this is not the correct one. This is not the correct one. This is not the correct one. So you have to take the, so what you have done now, you have done C transpose minus R1 minus R2. This is what you have done. Okay, so you will get a 0 over here, you will get a 0 over here, the 1 here will stay. You will have a -1 here, you will have a -1 here, 0 as such was here, and this is not -3, this will be -2. That is why I had put a 0 over here. So what is this telling? Now this is telling that look at the first basic variable x2. So what exactly this is telling? Now this is telling what is the value of x1? X1 is 1. What is the value of x2? X2 is 1. What is the value of x6? X6 is 1. What are the values of the other things? Now look, this is a basic solution you are talking. So therefore the non-basic part is 0 and x6 is 1. So this is the vertex that you are standing at. So the simplex table itself tells you what vertex you are standing at. See, I got x1 value. What is the value of x1? Now x1 value is 1. What is the value of x2? Now x2 value is 1 from B bar column. What is the value of x6? Now x6 value is 1. Okay, so this is the simplex table. This is the simplex table you are looking at, and it is giving you the information about the vertex that you are standing. What else it is telling? Now it is telling the basis is x2, x1, x6. Fine. What is the value of fw star? Now the value of fw star, remember what was the cost function? The cost function was x1 plus x2 plus x3. So fw star was 2. So this is actually the minus of fw star. So the simplex table is telling you that, okay, you are standing at this point and here is the new revised problem. You actually have to minimize this thing. So that is your simplex table. Fine, that part is fine. Any doubt here?
No, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you. I am going a little bit slow because it is now what is coming is the most important thing. So this particular table, suppose somehow I make the computer generate this particular table, and somehow I make the computer realize that okay, at this point W star, the value is 2, and what have you computed over here at the bottom of this bottom of this particular thing, this bottom of the simplex table. Now that is the C bar, the relative cost vector. Okay, so this bottom that you have computed, this particular thing that you have computed, this is actually C bar transpose. Okay, now C bar transpose has some negative entry, and therefore due to that test, the computer knows that this is not a minimal vertex. So therefore, and by our fundamental theorem, we know that the minimum will be attained at some vertex. So then the idea is to get a new cheaper vertex. Now how do you get? Now you don't search abruptly, I mean randomly. So then this simplex table will give you a direction and will tell you that you travel in that direction as much as possible, and when you travel the maximum possible extent, you will reach at a new vertex, and that will be cheaper than this vertex. That may not be minimum, but that will be definitely cheaper than this vertex. Okay, so for example, let us look at, so I am looking at this simplex table. Okay, here, so let us select the non-basic variable x4. There are three non-basic variable. Basic is x2, x1, x6. Three non-basic variable x3, x4, x5. And each of those non-basic variables will give you a direction to move out of the current vertex, the current VFS. Now you look at x4, okay? And suppose that you want to move out of W star. So what is W star? The current vertex. Now the current vertex is 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. That is the current vertex. And you want to move out of this by some alpha unit along a direction. D1, D2, 0, 1, 0, D6. What does it mean? Now I want to move out. Since I have selected x4, I want to, and look, x3, x4, x6, they were three non-basic variables. Out of that, I have selected x4 and I have chosen to increase the value of x4, but I have chosen to keep the other non-basic variables the same. That means 0 only. And this is a type of direction I am looking to travel. Okay, suppose I am willing to travel in a direction where d4 is 1, the other non-basic variables, the entries corresponding to the other non-basic variables, that is d3 and d5, they are 0, and d1, d2, d6, that I have kept as such. I want to travel in such a direction. Now travel in such a direction, fine. You want to travel inside the feasible set. Now yes, I want to travel inside the feasible set. That means, so this I call W star plus alpha D. Okay, so this vector, and I call it like W star alpha. Okay, by, I mean, it's just a short name. Now that W star alpha, that has to be an element of T star, that has to be inside the feasible set. Well, that is inside the feasible set means what? Now it means it has to satisfy A alpha W star alpha, that has to satisfy that A bar W star alpha has to satisfy B bar, because this is our revised problem where A bar is this one. A bar means the matrix that you are seeing here in the simplex table, and B bar means the vector that you are seeing over here in the simplex table. Okay, and C bar means the row below, so that you are seeing. This has to satisfy, this has to be satisfied. But then what does this mean? This means A bar W star, okay, let me write this, plus A bar alpha D has to be equal to B bar. Okay, but what is A bar W star? Now I already know A bar W star is nothing but B bar only. Okay, so this fellow is B bar. So if such a direction exists, if such a D exists, it must satisfy A bar D equal to 0. Alpha is some non-zero number. So okay, some positive number I will choose. So right now alpha is a variable. So it must satisfy this. A bar D equal to 0. Now what is A bar D? Now that is A bar matrix multiplied by vector D. Okay, if you are writing A bar matrix multiplied by D, then the matrix multiplication basically means this. A bar first column multiplied by D1 plus A bar second column multiply by D2 plus A bar third column multiply by D3 plus A bar fourth column multiply by D4 plus A bar fifth column multiply by D5 plus sixth column of A bar multiply by D6, and you should get a vector 0 0 0. That has to be satisfied. But remember, D3 and D5 were 0, so this goes away. And what was A bar second column? Now A bar second column was E1. Okay, so you write this as E1. This is, and what was the first column? Now first column was E2. What was the sixth column? Now sixth column was E3. So it automatically follows that I will have D2, D1, D6 plus the sixth column. What is the sixth column? And what, not sixth column, the fourth column. This gave me the first one, D2, D1 and D6 gave me this. And now what is the fourth column? Now whatever is the fourth column that I will see, like, so that will be, the fourth column I have deliberately kept 1, right? Remember, I mean the D4, the fourth entry of D, I have deliberately kept 1. So therefore, this will be minus of the fourth column of A bar. Okay, this is equal to minus of the fourth, because D4 was deliberately kept 1. Okay, the minus of the fourth column. Fourth column was in our simplex table 0 1 0. So you write 0 1 0. So therefore you got a unique D. What is your D now? Now the D is actually D is obtained from here. What is the value of D2 and what is the value of D1? Now D1 is minus 1. So I write D1 minus 1. The value of D2 I obtain from here is 0. D3 was already 0. D4 was 1. D5 was 0. What is the value of D6 from here? Now I get 0. So this is my D. So the fourth column, okay, since I chose X4, now that non-basic variable, that non-basic variable X4 is giving me this direction to move out. Okay. Now if I move out in this direction by alpha unit, then what will be W alpha? Okay, that I will show later. In fact, you can see that because since it is W plus alpha D, then W alpha W star plus alpha D. So this will be actually 1 minus alpha W. You add this to W star, right? Then 1 0 alpha 0 1. See, the first entry of W star was 1 and the first entry of D was minus 1. If I write alpha times that, it will give me 1 minus alpha. The second entry of W star was 1. The second entry of D was 0. Okay, here. The second entry of D was 0 here. So therefore, W star alpha second entry will be 1 only. Similarly, the other entries are computed. Okay, fine. This is the calculation again. So here I was talking about the point. The general point in the direction of D is W star alpha equal to W plus alpha times D. This was W 1 1 0 0 1 plus alpha times minus 1 0 0 1 0 0, which we had obtained, right? That was the thing. Minus 1 0 0 1 0 0. And this is a general point in that direction. Fine. This is coming from what? Now coming from the restriction of A bar W star alpha has to be equal to B bar. Okay, fine, no problem. We want to travel inside T star, that we also know, that we already know in the feasible set. Therefore, the entries of W star alpha has to be greater than equal to 0. They must be non-negative. So what is the maximum value alpha max of alpha can I take? Now the maximum value that I can take is alpha max equal to 1, because if I take alpha greater than 1, then I will have the first coordinate of W star alpha negative. So it will not be a point. Okay. Now what you do, you remember the first 3 coordinates were our original T. So what is happening is that right now, where are you? Now right now I am at here. The first 3 coordinates, the point given by the first 3 coordinates. Right now I am at here. In where? Now in T. So I am standing at 110. Right now I am standing at 110. And then what direction have you taken? Now I have taken the direction of minus 1 0 0 1 0 0. And by taking, this is my general point that I am looking at. Okay. And if I take alpha max equal to 1, where do I reach? Now I reach 0 1 0. So that is this point. So basically I have traveled in this direction. So that x4 non-basic variable has actually given you an edge starting from the vertex you are standing to another vertex. Okay. So that is what exactly it has done. You have traveled in this direction. Fine, no problem. So I am locating the point. So W star W alpha will look at. So W star alpha, remember these star points are in R6 and the without star points are in the R3. So this is a general W alpha. Okay, this point is a general W alpha. Okay, fine. Evaluate the cost difference between W star alpha and, sorry, here is a star and W star. Now cost difference. Okay, what is the cost difference? Now cost difference basically means C transpose W star alpha minus C transpose W star. That is the cost difference. Okay. C transpose W star alpha minus C transpose this. Well, C transpose, remember, was 110. 110. Sorry, C transpose. What was my C transpose? I think C transpose. Oh, C transpose, not C transpose. Sorry, this is C transpose was 111, right? I want to minimize x1 plus x2 plus x3, na? The C transpose was 111. This was C transpose. This was C transpose. Okay. So I will go back. Remember these points. This thing. Right. So C transpose W star alpha minus C transpose. So that means the sum of the first 3 entries of W star alpha. The first 3 entries were 1 minus alpha 1 0. So this is 2 minus alpha minus 2. W star was 1 1 0 and then 001. Okay, that was W star. So that is minus alpha. This is actually equal to C bar 4th unit multiplied by alpha. Remember the C bar? C bar was here. This was C bar 4th unit. That is minus 1 times alpha. And we can prove that also. Proof is not difficult. I will write the proof also here. It is only one line. See, I already know that C transpose X minus C transpose W star is actually nothing but C bar transpose X, right? You already know this one, na? C transpose X minus C transpose W star is actually C bar transpose. This is the relative cost vector during that direction. This is where from this only the simplest concept of simplex table originated. Okay, but then notice this. So I have C bar transpose over here. And what is W star alpha? Now W star alpha, what is W star alpha? Now in W star alpha, what I did actually, you might not have observed, but you have already actually observed it. Let me write again W star alpha, how it was created. See, W star alpha was created from W star by taking a scalar multiple of a particular direction, in which in the non-basic part only one entry changed in the non-basic part, and rest of the entries were like this. The vector was like this. Okay, and what is this? C bar transpose. Now I remember that in C bar transpose, the basic parts are zeros. Okay, and then you will have C bar third entry, C bar fourth entry, C bar fifth entry, and then another basic part, because this is basic part, that is C bar has this kind of structure. So when I multiply this with W star alpha, what will happen is that the basic part, that is these things, they will die. So this will go, this will go, this will go. Further out of the non-basic part, I have kept the entries, okay, the entries of what? The vector D, the entries of the vector D. So in like D3 and D5, them I have kept the same, and they were 0 in W star and they are 0 in W star alpha. So they will also die. So what will happen is that what will remain is C bar 4 multiplied by the alpha unit, which is this. Okay. And since C bar 4 was negative, okay, C bar 4, that fourth entry was negative, it was a -1, it follows that if W star alpha max minus if W star is equal to alpha max was 1 and C bar 4 was -1, it basically means the function at W star alpha max, and W star alpha max was the left endpoint. So that difference, the function has decreased by 1 unit. The value at 110 was 2 and the value at 010 is 1, because you are adding the entries. Okay, so that information it is saying. This meaning of the previous equation, this particular equation that you are seeing, C transpose W star alpha minus C transpose W star is equal to C bar 4 alpha. This meaning is that for moving one step, 1 unit in the direction provided by the non-basic variable x4, the cost will change by C bar 4, whatever is that. Okay, and here we have taken 1 unit and C bar 4 was -1. So the cost has changed by -1. Okay. What would have happened had I chosen, first of all, what is a direction given by x5? Let's say if I am looking at x5. Now, again, if you remember what you have to do, now the direction will be of this form. It will be given by keeping x5 equal to 1, the other non-basic variable, other non-basic places, that is d3, d4, d5. d5 is 1, the other non-basic thing is that only. Okay, fine. Now how do you get the other things, that is d1, d2, d6? Now they will be given by the vector. The basis, remember what is the basis? Now the basis is x2, x1, x6. Here you see the basis was that. This was the simplex table, huh? This is the simplex table. The basis is this. So d2, d1, d6 will be determined by the negative of the column below the chosen non-basic variable. So that is 1, 0, 0. The chosen non-basic variable is x5 here, 1, 0, 0. That means d2 will be -1, d1 will be 0. So this is the vector 0, d2 -1, 0, 0, 1, d6 is 0. This is the vector. Okay. So if I am going alpha unit in that direction, what is that I will get? What was the starting point? And the starting point was 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. Suppose I want to go alpha unit in this direction. This is the direction given by x5, the non-basic variable. Now what will be this? You just add that way. 1, 1 minus alpha, 0, 0, alpha, 1 plus alpha. Hey, sorry, 1 only. No plus alpha, this is 0. Okay. Acha. So what is the corresponding point of t? These are points. This is w star alpha in t star. What is the corresponding point of t? Now the corresponding point of t is 1, 1 minus alpha, 0. So what? Acha. Here what is alpha max possible? Now alpha max is 1 only. Beyond that it will be negative. So second entry will be negative. So alpha max is 1. So that will give, with alpha max equal to 1, this will give me the point 1, 0, 0. That means it is starting from 1, 1, 0. This is the w star means 1, 1, 0 and goes towards 1, 0, 0. This is traveling on this edge, and wherever it stops, that is a vertex. And so what has happened? Starting from this simplex table, if the moment you choose different non-basic variables, you get directions to move out of that vertex. Okay, and that is in R6. This is for SLPP, but I can see the picture in R3 itself. Okay, so that is what it is. This gives this thing. Okay. Any doubt till now? Because I will not cover this again.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, if the C bar transpose has all positive values or all negative values, then we can conclude about local maxima or minima. But if it
Yes.
has partial positive and negative, then we cannot conclude. So how are we saying that we need to move away from that point so that we can get better.
Arey, ruko. If you are at a point where C bar has some negative entries, okay, so this is what I am starting. I was at a point, this vertex 1 1 0, that gave me to a vertex 1 1 0 0 0 1. That was W star. But this C bar was having a negative entry. C bar was having this negative entry, na?
Yes, sir. So we cannot conclude whether it is local maximum or local
No, I
minimum.
am not concluding anything. But what I am telling you that look, for those variables, those are non-basic variables, right? Because basic variables are already 0 only. These are non-basic variables. Okay. For each of those non-basic variable, forget about maximum, minimum. Each of those non-basic variable, that will give you a direction along which you can actually travel and reach a new vertex. Forget minimizing, maximizing right now. I am just telling, if you are looking at a non-basic variable, for example, x5, this x5, from using this x5, I can create a direction which I just created, this direction. And along this direction, I can move inside the feasible set to reach another vertex.
Okay, sir. Understood, sir.
Understood, na?
Yes.
Now, and in the process, what I have done, now, functional value has changed by C5, bar C5. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And
Got
bar
it, sir.
C5 was negative. So what I have done, I have taken you from one vertex and got you at a new vertex where the value is lesser. And the idea is, since the minimum will be attained at some vertex, and there are finitely many vertices, the process can take you, like this is the algorithm that we are going to follow.
Sir, just another doubt, sir. Had it been positive, then what would we have been doing? Should we see another direction?
This would have given a direction. For example, the other direction, this one. If you look at that x3, it will give you this direction, and therefore the change of the value would be +1 over here. That will be this change of functional value. It would increase. If your aim is to maximize, then you would have gone for the positive C bar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, then we'll stop here. Acha, before I tell anything, tomorrow I will not take class. Okay, we'll have no class tomorrow. Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, no class tomorrow.